Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking Ball podcast. My name is Chase. I'm your host, and today we're going to be talking about the wrap up for a few series in the NBA. We're coming up on the conference finals real soon, and then we'll be into the NBA championship, and then it'll be all football from there. And on the podcast, we do have a ton of football today. The NFL started on Monday, and we had all 16 games to go over. So without further ado, let's get into some NBA, and then we'll go from there. So the first series we're going to be wrapping up is the Celtics and Raptors series. We left off on Game 5. So Game 5, the Celtics won, and they lead 3-2. After this one, it was Jaylen Brown, 27 points, and Kemba Walker had 21. The Raptors didn't do well. Kyle Lowry didn't play well. Fred VanVleet was the leading scorer with 18, and he shot a little under 50% from the field and 2 for 7 from 3. And then Norman Powell off the bench had 16, and he hit 4 threes. So the Celtics lead 3-2 after that, and then in Game 6, a double overtime thriller had the Raptors coming out with the win by 3, forcing the Game 7. Jason Tatum had 29 points, 14 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 31 points and 16 rebounds. Kemba didn't play well at all. He only had 5 points. He was 1 for 6 from 3, 2 for 11 overall. Just a rough game for Kemba. And the Raptors played real well. Norman Powell hit some big threes down the stretch. Kyle Lowry had 33 points, shot 6 for 10 from 3. Powell had 23 total, hit a couple big threes down the stretch in the double overtime. And Fred VanVleet had 21 points. He didn't shoot well. He shot 7 for 22 and 3 for 13 from deep. But it was Powell hitting some clutch shots, and Kyle Lowry hit a big shot in the second overtime to extend the Raptors' lead and pretty much put it away at that point. So they forced Game 7 after that. Game 7 was a low-scoring contest, but the Celtics did come out and win by 5. Tatum had 29 points, 12 rebounds, and Jaylen Brown had 21 points. The Raptors, it was really a bad shooting game for both teams. The Celtics shot 40%, Raptors shot 41%. Celtics shot 23% from the 3, and the Raptors shot 28%, from 3. Fred VanVleet for the Raptors had 20 points, and Lowry had 16. The Celtics go on to face the Heat. They will be playing them today, Tuesday, as I record this. Heat Celtics is a good matchup. I like to say that the Celtics are going to pull it out. The Heat are a very good team. Obviously, they beat the Bucks in 5, which the Bucks were supposed to be the best team in the NBA. So it's a little scary, but I'd rather play the Heat than the Bucks, especially as a Celtics fan. All right, another pretty long series I'm going to get through pretty quick is a really good one, actually, is the Clippers-Nuggets. The Nuggets fell to 3-1 again. Game 3, Paul George had 32, Kawhi had 23, Jokic had 32, and Michael Porter Jr. had 18, and the Nuggets lost. Game 4, Clippers won again, Kawhi had 30, Paul George struggled, had 10, Jokic had 26, and Murray had 18. And then the Game 5, the Nuggets won, brought it to 3-2. Kawhi had 36, Paul George had 26, Murray had 26, and Jokic had 22. Nuggets just shot better, and that's how they won that one. Then in Game 6, they forced a Game 7, which also has not been played yet. It will be played this week. Kawhi had 25, kind of struggled. And then Paul George had 33 points, 5 steals. They're the only two starters that scored more than 5 points. The other starters had, I can't remember who it was, but one of them had 5, two of them had 2, and it was 5, 2, and 2, and then Kawhi and Paul George. Jokic had 34 and 14, and then Jamal Murray had 21. So that game is going to 7. The Clippers don't seem panicked. Paul George says they aren't panicked. They're just going to go in and play their ball. Doc Rivers says they're confident. So, we're going to see how Game 7 goes, and the winner of that will play the Lakers. The last game of Bucks Heat, we didn't get to last time. Game 5, when the Heat won the series 4-1. No Giannis. He had a knee injury in the last game, so he decided to sit. Well, I don't think it was his decision. I think it was strongly urged by the doctors, probably not to play or it could get worse. But Middleton had 27, DiVincenzo had 17, and then Jimmy Butler had 17, Goran Dragic had 17. Giannis's future with the Bucks, could be in doubt. He's had some meetings with them. They're telling him that they're gonna try to spend big to win a championship, and Giannis has always stated that he doesn't want to switch teams. He wants to stay in Milwaukee. Whether or not that's the case, we'll have to find out. We'll have to see. But it's gonna be a crazy offseason if Giannis leaves. The next series I want to get through quick is Lakers-Rockets. Rockets won Game 1, as we talked about last time, but it was pretty much all Lakers in this series. They won Game 3. Well, they won Game 2, we talked about last time. They won Game 3 by 10. AD had 26, LeBron had 36, Westbrook had 30, James Harden had 33, so they played a great game. There's no help for him. The next game, Game 4, they also won by 10. 110-100. And that game, AD had 29 and 12. And LeBron had 16 points, 15 rebounds. Westbrook had 25 points, and Harden had 21 points and 10 assists. Harden didn't play well at all. He shot 2 for 11 from the field, and then he shot 1 for 6 from 3. And how did he get 21 points? Oh, he shot 16 for 20 from the free throw line. 16 for 20. He shot 20 free throws and made 16 of them. And then Game 5, Lakers won by 20. Harden had 30 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 12 for 20, 2 for 8. And Westbrook struggled, 4 for 13 from the field. He only had 10 points. Anthony Davis had 13 and 11. And then it was LeBron with 29 and 11 to lead them to the victory. The Lakers will go on to play the winner of Clippers-Nuggets. That will be today. I think the Clippers have the best chance against LeBron and AD. I don't really think the Nuggets do stand a chance. They don't have anybody to really guard LeBron. And they got Rondo to guard Murray and AD versus Jokic. Take your pick there. I know it probably won't be AD versus Jokic. It'll probably be Jokic versus JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard, but AD will be there. Lakers win that series. And we got the rest of them today. We're going to move on to NFL games. NFL starting Monday Night Football. We got Chiefs and Texans. The Chiefs won by 14, 34-20. It was a very good game from Mahomes. It was a very competitive game throughout, although obviously, it's the Texans. It's the Chiefs. It's the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. You don't expect nothing less than wins from them in most of their games. The Chiefs did have one interception from Snead, their rookie corner. It was a tip pass off the line, and I think Snead came up with the big interception. Watson's only interception. Mahomes, he was 24 for 32, played a very good game. Completion wise, he had 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a guy they're very big on. They drafted number very last 32 in the draft this season. He carried the ball 25 times, had 138 yards and a touchdown. So pretty good stats for him in his first game as a rookie. With Damian Williams being opting out of the season, it's going to be his show. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's going to be his team. Well, his team for the running game, anyways. And he's going to try to carry that load that Williams dropped off for him. Receiving wise, Sammy Watkins caught the ball 7 times for 82 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce had 6 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, and then Tyreek Hill had 5 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. So their big 3 receivers all had a touchdown each. They're just picking up where they left off, really, and that brings the Chiefs to 1-0. The Texans, who start the season 0-1, struggled. Deshaun Watson played all right. He was 20 for 32 for 253 yards, a touchdown, and then the pick. David Johnson, who they traded DeAndre Hopkins for, he didn't play bad. He had 11 carries for 77 yards, 7 yards to carry, and a touchdown. Deshaun Watson had 6 carries, 27 yards, and a touchdown. So not a bad game from David Johnson. When we get down to the Cardinals, Hopkins had a much better game than Johnson did. So, the trade so far is an L. I mean, it's always been an L, though, right? Will Fuller, the guy they're hoping to become the new DeAndre Hopkins, he played well. He had 8 catches, 112 yards. No touchdowns, but he racked up a bunch of yards. And then Akins had 2 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown. All right, in the next game we're going to be getting into the first game of Sunday football, it was in the morning, was the Seahawks and Falcons. The Seahawks won by 13. It was a very good, very, very good game from Russell Wilson. He was basically perfect throughout the game. Only a few drops from his receivers. The Seahawks did have 1 interception and 1 fumble recovery. The interception came on a Hail Mary at the end of the game. It was from Quandre Diggs. And then the fumble recovery was from Blair, a rookie. It was on a fake punt. The Falcons did get the first down, but the rookie punched the ball out, and they recovered it. Russell Wilson played an MVP-like game. 31 for 35. He was basically perfect throughout most of the game. 322 yards and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Chris Carson had 6 carries for 21 yards. Not much on the ground, but he did have 6 catches for 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he got it done through the air. Carlos Hyde did have their solo rushing touchdown with 7 carries, 23 yards, and the touchdown. DK Metcalf, he had 4 catches, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. Really high on him. I think he's really going to be a really good receiver in the future for them. Big vertical threat. Really, he's a fast guy. His 1 touchdown was a deep 40-yard bomb that he beat his receiver on. So it was a very good touchdown for him. Tyler Lockett had 8 catches for 92 yards, so he was there. He just didn't score. So well played from the Seahawks offense, and the Seahawks defense played really well as well, trying to lock down, Todd Gurley and Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. The Falcons, though, they do fall to 0-1. Matt Ryan was 37 for 54, 450 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw the 1 interception on the Hail Mary. Julio had 9 catches for 157 yards. And then Calvin Ridley had 9 catches for 130 yards, and Matt Ryan's 2 touchdowns. So the Falcons fall to 0-1. After that, and Seahawks are 1-0. And Russell Wilson is starting off the season with a strong case for MVP. You could have argued that he could have won it last year with his superb numbers, but so far starting out the season great. If he can continue what he's doing, he's going to definitely have a conversation for the MVP. All right, our next game is going to be Jets-Bills. Not the most exciting game. The Bills won by 10. The Jets did have 2 fumble recoveries from Bradley McDougald and Willis. But Sam Darnold, he played okay. Not as well as Sam Darnold and the Jets wanted to play. They lost the game, so it's always, it's always not how you want to play when you lose. But Darnold was 21 for 35. 215 yards and a touchdown, and then he did throw an interception. Le'Veon Bell, who did injure his hamstring, I believe, in the second quarter, had 6 carries for 14 yards. Adam Gase did put him back in the game. Immediately took him out. He then said after the game that he made a bad decision putting Bell back in the game, and he was frustrated that he did that. Compromised Bell's health and the team's success, honestly. So he did take him out of the game, and hopefully Bell is fine. But 6 carries for 14 yards for him. Chris Herndon had 6 catches for 37 yards, and then Jamison Crowder had 7 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. His touchdown was a 69-yard screen pass that he took all the way to the house. For the Bills, they started 1-0. Jerry Hughes got a fumble recovery, and Matt Milano had the interception on Darnold. Josh Allen played well. He threw the ball a lot. He was 33 for 46, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 14 times and had 57 yards and ran a touchdown. Devin Singletary, their young new back, he carried the ball 9 times for 30 yards. Stephon Diggs, new acquisition from the Vikings for the Bills, he had 8 catches for 86 yards, and then John Brown had 6 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. So the Bills start 1-0. I like the Bills. I love their defense. And then the Jets, not surprisingly, are 0-1. All right. Our next game up is going to be the Bears and the Lions. The Bears were down a lot going into, I believe they were, I'm not sure how much they were down, honestly, but they did win the game by 4. The Lions should have won. Deandre Swift, the Lions rookie, dropped a game-winning touchdown in the end zone with no time left. So, Lions could have won. The Lions should have won. But they ended up losing by 4. The Bears did have an interception on Stafford. It was Kyle Fuller. Trubisky, he played well. He didn't throw a pick. He completed 20 of his 36 passes. He had 3 touchdowns. I didn't put his yards on here for some reason. But I'm sure he had a lot of yards. But he did throw 3 touchdowns. He did play how the Bears finally want him to play. Now the Bears are obviously going to want him to play like that every game. Because they did pick him over some notable guys. Yeah, he didn't play bad. Tariq Cohen carried the ball 7 times for 41 yards, and David Montgomery, who seems to be the guy that's going to be their starter, carried the ball for 13 times for 64 yards. Allen Robinson caught 5 catches for 74 yards, and Anthony Miller had 4 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. to help the Bears start 1-0. Now the Lions, very disappointing loss from them. They start their season 0-1. Like I said, should have won. Stafford was 24 for 42 for 300 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Adrian Peterson, newly acquired piece for the Lions. He carried the ball 14 times for them and got 93 yards. So he played well. No touchdowns, but he had 93 yards on the ground on 14 carries. Marvin Jones Jr. had 4 catches for 55 yards. Danny Amendola had 5 catches for 81 yards. And TJ Hawkinson, their young tight end, had 5 catches, 56 yards, and Matthew Stafford's touchdown. Defensive breakdown for the Lions. Bad drop in the end zone for DeAndre Swift. A lot of things could have gone better for the Lions, but they start their season 0-1. All right, the next game we got is Packers-Vikings. This one was a very high-scoring game. Packers 43, Vikings 34. The Packers did have 1 interception on Cousins, and that was Jair Alexander, their young corner, who's going to be a star for sure. Aaron Rodgers, not a big fan. 32 for 44, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. He played well. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers at all, but he played well. Aaron Jones had 16 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Davante Adams, I do like Davante Adams though. He had 14 catches, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Very good game from Davante Adams. One of the best route runners in the league for sure. Super quick, super fast, great hands, a very good wide receiver. And then their young guy, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, had 4 catches, 96 yards, and his touchdown was about a 40-yard bomb from Aaron Rodgers. Very quick guy. He beat his guy off the press coverage, and it was a touchdown the minute Aaron Rodgers snapped the ball. So the Packers start their season 1-0, and the Vikings, unfortunately, fall to 0-1. Kirk Cousins had 19 for 25 on his completions, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Dalvin Cook had 12 carries for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Adam Thielen had 6 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of Cousins' touchdowns. The Vikings off to a rough start after their pretty good playoff push last season. Dalvin Cook's going to have to keep doing what he's doing. Got that big contract, and now he's going to have to be the centerpiece for that Vikings offense. Kirk Cousins is, an average quarterback. He's not bad. He's not good. He's not great. Excuse me. He's an average quarterback. He did well last year. If I was them, I'd take the more Titans approach with my running back situation. I just run the ball a lot more. You got Dalvin Cook, one of the better running backs. I think he's a top 5 running back in the league, and I think he could be one of the best. So if they want to do a little Tannehill Henry connection between Cook and Cousins, I think that could work out just fine. Obviously, Cook had 2 touchdowns. Cousins had 2 touchdowns also. But that Vikings defense got to do better than giving up 43 points to the Packers. All right, our next game is Dolphins Patriots. Woohoo! Let's go Patriots. The Patriots won 21-11. Big Cam came through. We're gonna hit the Dolphins first, who fall to 0-1. Ryan Fitzpatrick got the start. Not a good game. I expect Tua to probably start the next one, because Fitzpatrick is 20 for 30. Not a bad completion percentage. 191 yards, not bad. No touchdowns is not ideal, and 3 interceptions is really bad. Yeah, so I expect Tua Tagovailoa to probably get the start next week. Maybe he just wasn't feeling it. Maybe the Dolphins thought, let's go with Fitzpatrick, see what happens, and then we'll go from there. They saw what happened. He threw 3 interceptions, and the Patriots only scored 21 points. And the Dolphins only scored 11. So I expect Tua to get the start next week. Jordan Howard had 8 carries for 7 yards and a touchdown. And then Myles Gaskin had 9 carries for 40 yards. Devontae Parker caught 4 of Fitzpatrick's receptions, not touchdowns, for 47 yards. He also got hurt. He didn't return to the game, although I believe he should be okay. And then the Patriots, my team, let's go. They had 3 picks. They picked off Fitzpatrick 3 times. Stephon Gilmore, Adrian Phillips, and J.C. Jackson. And J.C. Jackson also had a fumble recovery in the game. So a great game from Jackson. Gilmore obviously stepping it up. Defensive Player of the Year. Played really well. Cam Newton, 15 for 19. Very efficient, 155 yards. No touchdowns in the air, no picks. But he did carry the ball 15 times for 75 yards and had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Sony Michel had 10 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. Edelman had 5 catches for 57 yards, and N'Keal Harry had 5 catches for 39 yards. So, good game, good start of the season for the Patriots and Cam Newton. A lot of high praise from Cam, from a lot of people. They think Cam is just getting started. And it could be a very dangerous year for Cam Newton. I hope so. I love Cam Newton. Patriots are my team. So, any help we can get after losing Brady, we'll take it. All right, next game we have on is the Eagles and the Washington Football Team. Now, this was a shocker. The Eagles were up 17-0 with about 7 minutes left in the second quarter. I take that back. They were up 17-0 with 40 seconds left in the second quarter. Washington scored a last-second touchdown before the half and then went on to score 20 more. They scored 27 unanswered points in the last 40 seconds of the first half and the whole second half. Eagles didn't score in the second half at all. Washington's defense stepped up. Held Wentz to not good play in the second half. Wentz did well in the first half. Overall, he was 24 for 42 for 270 yards, had both his touchdowns in the first half and both of his interceptions in the second half. Boston Scott got the start. Miles Sanders was hurt, did not play. So Boston Scott carried the ball 9 times for 35 yards. That's it. Deshaun Jackson had 2 catches for 46. Zach Ertz had 3 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. And then Dallas Goedert had his day for 8 catches, 101 yards and a touchdown. Eagles fall to 0-1 against the Washington Football Team, who go to 1-0, who had 2 interceptions, Jimmy Moreland and Fabian Moreau. 2 fumble recoveries from Ryan Kerrigan and Charles Sims. And then Chase Young had a forced fumble on a sack. Good start for this team. Dwayne Haskins, he played okay. His completion percentage could have been better if he was 17 for 31. 178 yards and a touchdown. He didn't throw a pick. Antonio Gibson carried the ball 9 times for 36 yards. And then Peyton Barber had 17 carries, 29 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, had 5 catches for 61 yards. And Logan Thomas, their tight end, had 4 catches, 37 yards. And Dwayne Haskins, touchdown. Good start for the Washington Football Team. Exact opposite to the Eagles. This should have been an Eagles blowout. But Dwayne Haskins came to play. He wasn't stepping down. So, good start for Haskins on the season. Good start for the Washington football team. And the Eagles are going to have to figure something out after that tough loss. Next game we got is the Raiders and the Panthers. The Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders won 34-30. So they go 1-0. Derek Carr played well. I like Derek Carr as a quarterback personally. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. He's definitely a quality quarterback, and obviously when you break your leg, you're gonna have some ups and downs after that. But he played well today. He played well on Sunday. 22 for 30, 239 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, who I thought should have been Rookie of the Year, over Kyler Murray. Don't get me wrong, Kyler Murray did great. I just think Josh Jacobs did better. But in this one, he had 25 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. So already starting off the season showing why he maybe should have been the Rookie of the Year. And I agree. Henry Ruggs, their first-round pick, had 3 catches for 55 yards. He came up off the field a little hobbly a couple times. I think he was just getting some cramps. But Henry Ruggs, one of the fastest 40s ever. 4.27, I believe, the fastest guy in the combine by far. And he's got great hands. He came from Alabama. You gotta have good hands to go to Alabama. So he's got a great future. This Raiders team is very young. They got Ruggs, Jacobs, Carr, and they also got Darren Waller. They have a very young, good defense. And I think this Raiders team could be pretty good. Maybe they'll snatch that extra wild card spot. The next game up, or no, sorry, not the next game up. We're gonna talk about the Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater's debut with the Panthers. He played well. 22 for 34, 270 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey had 23 carries for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 3 catches for 38 yards. DJ Moore had 4 catches for 54 yards, and then Robbie Anderson had 6 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. So pretty good debut for Bridgewater. Pretty good, really good debut for Robbie Anderson and the Panthers. Even though they took the loss, it was a very good game, very close game. All right, now for our next game, Colts and Jaguars. Another shocker, I guess. The Jaguars won by 7, and Gardner Minshew outplayed Phillip Rivers. Very interesting game. I do want to say first that Marlon Mack, unfortunately, tore his Achilles in this one. He is out for the season. That will force Nyheim Hines to come in and be the workhorse for them. It's very unfortunate. Marlon Mack injury. He was their workhorse last season, and he was set to be their best running back this season. First game of the season sucks to lose, anybody, especially a starter. But yeah, Phillip Rivers, he was 36 for 46, 363 yards, a touchdown, and he threw 2 interceptions, including one late one. That kind of sealed the deal. Marlon Mack, before he got hurt, carried 4 times for 26 yards. And then Nyheim Hines. They also have Jonathan Taylor, who can come in, but I think they're going to put Hines in. He had 7 carries, 28 yards, and a touchdown. He also had 8 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. T.Y. Hilton had 4 catches, 53 yards. Jonathan Taylor, who I was just talking about, played more receiver than running back. He caught the ball 6 times for 67 yards. And Paris Campbell had 6 catches for 71 yards. The Jaguars start their season 1-0 with 2 interceptions. C.J. Henderson, the rookie, got one. And Andrew Wingard got the Second one late in the game to kind of seal the deal. Minshew, nearly perfect. 19 for 20. One incomplete pass total. 173 yards, 3 touchdowns. Played great. Didn't throw the ball insanely a lot, but he had 3 touchdowns. James Robinson, rookie, I believe. He had 16 carries for 62 yards. And then DJ Chark had 3 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. Keelan Cole had 5 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. And then the rookie, Laviskis Chenault. Excuse me. I probably butchered that. 3 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Good start to the season for Minshew and the Jags. Phillip Rivers maybe getting used to a new team. I don't know. He's got good targets. T.Y. Hilton, Jonathan Taylor. But Marlon Mack going out sucks for the rest of the season, especially. But yeah, Jags take that one by 7. Next game, pretty much a blowout. Ravens Browns. Ravens won 38-6. The Browns did have 1 fumble recovery on defense. It was Myles Garrett. Baker Mayfield. He didn't play good. He didn't play terrible. He was 21 for 39 completion, 189 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He played like an average game, but that was the only touchdown the Browns scored. So Nick Chubb had 10 carries for 60 yards, and Kareem Hunt had 13 carries for 72 yards. They have good pieces. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, OBJ, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku. Great pieces. They just couldn't put anything together in this one. OBJ had 3 catches, 22 yards. Landry had 5 catches, 61 yards. And Njoku had 3 catches, 50 yards. And it's touchdown. For the Ravens, they had 2 fumble recoveries. It was Anthony Levine Sr. and L.J. Fort recovering those fumbles. And the 1 interception thrown by Mayfield was caught by Marlon Humphrey. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP, played like it. 20 for 25, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 7 carries for 45 yards. Mark Ingram had 10 carries for 29 yards. And then J.K. Dobbins had 7 carries, 22 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The rookie out of Ohio State. Seems like he's a very situational back. But he scored 2 touchdowns. So. Hollywood Brown, Marquise, had 5 catches, 101 yards. Willie Snead had 4 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown. And then Mark Andrews, their big tight end, probably Lamar Jackson's favorite target, had 5 catches, 58 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very big red zone threat. Mark Andrews is, and Lamar Jackson loves finding him down in the red zone. Lamar Jackson playing his MVP ways. Will he repeat? I don't know. So far, I got Russ and then him. Week 1 early predictions for MVP. I'd say Russell Wilson. Lamar Jackson. Aaron Rodgers. However much I hate to say it, he played a great game. 360 yards and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So yeah, that's my early predictions. I'll get some real predictions in. But my real prediction will be Russell Wilson to win MVP. Anyways, Chargers-Bengals is our next one. Pretty boring game. 16-13, the Chargers won. They had 1 fumble recovery. It was Nick Vigil, and an interception off Joe Burrow was Melvin Ingram. Tyrod Taylor got the start. 16 for 30, 208 yards, so not a bad game. No touchdowns, but he didn't throw a pick. Austin Eckler had 19 carries for 84 yards, and Joshua Kelly had 12 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. And then Keenan Allen had 4 catches, 37 yards, and Hunter Henry had 5 catches, 73 yards. The Chargers advanced to 1-0. The Bengals, unfortunately, go 0-1 in Joe Burrow's first start. It was a pretty good game for Burrow. Besides that pretty bad interception to Melvin Ingram late in the game. But he was 23 for 36, 193 yards, and the interception. And he had 8 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown. Joe Mixon, who just got a big contract, had 19 carries and 69 yards. And A.J. Green had 5 catches for 51 yards. Not a terrible start for Joe Burrow. Had that one mistake. Pretty bad one. It was a pretty bad pass. You should see it behind me. If I can figure out all the video clip stuff. But it was a pretty bad pass. But his touchdown run was good. He played well, other than that one. And I think he's gonna be a pretty good quarterback, for sure. Our next matchup was a pretty big one. It was Bucks Saints. The Saints did win by 11, 34-23. And the Bucks fall to 0-1. Tom Brady, he didn't play great in his new area. He played okay with his new team. He was 23 for 36, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He carried the ball 3 times for 9 yards and scored a touchdown on a QB sneak. Ronald Jones had 17 carries, 66 yards. Mike Evans I don't know how much he was targeted, but he only caught the ball once for 2 yards and a touchdown. But he only caught the ball once. Godwin had 6 catches for 79 yards, and O.J. Howard had 4 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. Tom Brady did throw 2 pretty bad interceptions. One, Janoris Jenkins returned for 6, and one was Marcus Williams, an overthrow for Mike Evans. So Brady, he struggled. I think he struggled, but he had okay numbers. He had okay numbers. Obviously, throwing a pick 6, throwing another pick, it's tough, especially when the other quarterback doesn't. But either way, it was the Saints and Drew Brees who came away with the win. 18 for 30 for Brees, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kamara had 12 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown. And then Latavius Murray had 15 carries and 48 yards. Michael Thomas, the king of the slant route, had 3 catches for 17 yards. Best wide receiver in the game, huh? Alvin Kamara had 5 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jared Cook had 5 catches for 80 yards. And no hate to Saints fans. I don't like Michael Thomas. He cries a lot on Twitter. He and when you play a game like this, 3 catches, 17 yards, were all his catches little 5-yard slant routes, and he got 7 on one of them. I just don't think that play doesn't suffice for the best wide receiver in the league. When I got this next game with the Cardinals, where DeAndre Hopkins goes crazy. We'll get to that right now, actually. But yeah, poor performance from Thomas. Granted, he only caught 3 catches, but it's the receiver's job to get open. Cardinals-Niners, as I was saying, the Cardinals won 24-20. Beat the Super Bowl runner-ups by 4. Cardinals go to 1-0, and Kyler Murray played well. reigning rookie of the year. He had 26 for 40 completions, 230 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The interception came off a tip pass, so can't fault him too much. But he did throw an interception. He had 13 carries, 91 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake had 16 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. And then, as I was talking about, DeAndre Hopkins, 14 catches, 151 yards. No touchdowns, but 14 catches, 151 yards. 3 catches, 17 yards for Thomas. Fitzgerald played better. 4 catches, 34 yards. And it's not like the Bucs have good secondary. The Bucs have a great rush defense. The Bucs had the best running defense in the league last year. And I'm pretty sure they have one of the worst passing defenses. So to go up against one of the worst passing defenses as the best wide receiver in the league and only have 3 catches for 17 yards baffles me. When DeAndre Hopkins is getting guarded by Richard Sherman and has 14 catches for 150. Don't make any sense. Anyways, Kyler Murray did throw an interception, and the interception off the tip pass was caught by Jaquiski Tart for the Niners. The Niners fall to 0-1. Rough start for the Super Bowl runner-ups. Garoppolo was 19 for 33, 259 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He didn't play bad. He played well. Mostert carried the ball 15 times for 56 yards. And then Kendrick Bourne had 2 catches, 34 yards. Kittle had 4 catches, 44 yards. And Mostert caught the ball 4 times, 95 yards, and a touchdown, including a big 65-yard touchdown that you should see behind him. Rough start for the 49ers. Great start for this young Cardinals team. It's going to be dangerous. DeAndre Hopkins, I know Fitzgerald's old, but they got Kyler Murray. Kenyon Drake is just enough. So far, the Cardinals are winning in the DeAndre Hopkins trade. I know Texas had to play the Chiefs, but the Cardinals had to play the 49ers, the other team that was in the Super Bowl. So, yeah. Anyways, next game was the last game on Sunday. Sunday night was the Cowboys and Rams. Controversial game near the end. You know, I'm kind of on the side that I think it was pass interference. You know, when you slowed it down in slow motion, everything looks so innocent. I watched that play and I called it. I said I'm throwing that flag when it was in full time. Obviously, you know, it looked a little different when you slowed it down, replayed it. But he pushed off. Whether or not Ramsey sold it, that's not his problem. That's what he's supposed to do. He felt pressure getting pushed against him. And Gallup gave him a stiff arm. Gallup gave him a stiff arm. He pushed off. He pushed off. I think it was a pass interference. When you slow it down, it didn't look like it, but I think it was pass interference. Anyways, Cowboys lose by 3. They should have kicked a field goal when it was 4th and 1, down on their 10-yard line, but they didn't. They're stupid. Instead, they turned the ball over. Cowboys did pick off Jared Goff once, and it was Chidobe Awuzie. It was off a tip pass. Can't fault Goff, but Chidobe Awuzie comes up with the pick. Bad news. More bad news for the Cowboys. Blake Jarwin is out for the season with a torn ACL. Unfortunate. That is their starting tight end. Young guy. Definitely a cornerstone for them. And now he's gone for the season. Prescott played well, though. He 25 for 39, 266 yards, a touchdown. 3 carries, 30 yards. Zeke had 22 carries for 96 yards. He had 3 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper had 10 catches for 81 yards. CeeDee Lamb, their new rookie, their first round pick. 5 catches, 59 yards, and Michael Gallup, 3 catches, 50 yards. Pretty good game for the big 3 trio of receivers and Dak. Although heartbreaking loss. Jared Goff played okay. 20 for 31, 275 yards. Excuse me. No touchdowns, but an interception. But it was Malcolm Brown. They lose Todd Gurley. Malcolm Brown comes in and steps up. 18 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, who just signed that big extension, 4 catches, 40 yards. And Robert Woods had 6 catches, 105 yards. All right, moving on to Monday Night Football. Good one, Steelers-Giants. Steelers won by 10. Good win. The Steelers forced 2 interceptions from Daniel Jones, and they were both caught by linemen, defensive linemen. Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt both got an interception. You love seeing the big men getting picks off the D-line, and obviously TJ Watt's one of the up-and-coming, and Cam Hayward is one of the vets who's been one of the best for a long time. Ben Roethlisberger played well in his debut, 21 for 32, 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. So not bad for him. James Conner, he was injured early. He had 6 carries for 9 yards. No word on him yet. But Benny Snell did come in and step up on Monday night. Monday, I guess, afternoon. Around 4 o'clock. He had 19 carries, 113 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster had 6 catches, 69 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Steelers. And James Washington had 2 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown as well. Pretty good start for the Steelers, going 1-0. The Giants 0-1. They did have a fumble recovery. It was David Downs, I believe his name was, or Devontae Downs, something like that. For them, Daniel Jones played okay. 26 for 41. He missed a good amount of passes, but 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, and he carried the ball 4 times for 22 yards. Saquon, rough game. He didn't get hurt or anything. He didn't, he wasn't, I don't know, just rough game. 15 carries, 6 yards.
His receiver, Deontay Johnson.
Rough game for Saquon. Didn't help the Giants' cause at all. Sterling Shepard had 6 catches, 47 yards, and Darius Slayton had 6 catches, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rough game for Saquon, and honestly, that probably could have been the 10-point swing if Saquon had a Saquon game. It's all right, though. Titans-Broncos. Titans won by 2 after a game-winning field goal. Gostkowski, he did start the game 0-3 from field goals. He missed from 47, 42, and 40. He also missed an extra point. And I will say one of the field goals was blocked. Still counts as a miss, but it was blocked. Not terrible, but it did alter the ball. But he was 1 for 4. That one came in as the game winner. With no time, with very little time left on the clock. They also had a fumble recovery from Simmons. Tannehill, he played like Tannehill, 29 for 43, 249 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, stats-wise, he looked like he played well, although he did carry the ball 31 times for 116 yards and no touchdowns. They had, I believe, 2 opportunities on the 1-yard line. One they went 4 and out. I believe they rushed Henry 2 or 3 times that drive. Or no, sorry. They went 3 and out and then threw a passing touchdown on 4th down. And then they had another opportunity where they didn't punch it in with Henry, which sucks. But A.J. Brown had 5 catches, 39 yards. Corey Davis, 7 receptions, 101 yards. And then Jonnu Smith had 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. For the Broncos, they fought 0-1. 2 of their starting receivers didn't play, which sucks. Cortland Sutton, definitely one of their stars. And then KJ Hamler, second-round pick, I believe, didn't play. So that was kind of hard. They do have a plethora of other wide receivers, though. And Drew Lock played well. 22 for 33, 216 yards, a touchdown. Melvin Gordon making his debut, 15 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Philip Lindsay was hurt. He didn't return to the game. I have no word on him yet. I believe he should be okay, though. 7 carries, 24 yards for him before getting injured. Noah Fant making his debut, 5 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jerry Jeudy, the rookie, another rookie also. He had 4 catches, 56 yards. Sorry. So that's the NFL this week. Crazy how we have football starting. Basketball's still going. Hockey's going right now. Baseball's going right now. Women's basketball's going right now. Everything's going. So I know I don't report on all of that. It's just because I don't have too much knowledge about hockey or baseball. I probably will. I will report World Series stuff. And I will report probably Stanley Cup stuff. Because I know, maybe you guys want to see some hockey or some baseball. And if you do, let me know. If you want to see any baseball or hockey, I will start learning. I'm never afraid to jump into a new sport and learn what it has to offer. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. We're going to get down to news here at the end, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, in the NBA, we have the Thunder and Billy Donovan are parting ways after their loss to the Rockets in Game 7. I've been hearing reports that the Thunder are likely to just completely rebuild. Trade Chris Paul, trade Steven Adams, build up with Shea, Dort, Baisley, young guys. Trade everybody that isn't young, Gallinari, Chris Paul, Steven Adams, and go from there. If they can get some young assets for those guys, honestly, the Thunder could have no problem rebuilding. Because they already got 2 really good players, in Shea and Dort. And Baisley, honestly. Along with that, the Bucks stated that they had interest in trading for Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul and Giannis would work very well together. Giannis is a very rim-running, heavy power forward. I'd work pick and roll into Giannis's game if they got Chris Paul. That'd be Lob City all day. It'd be Lob City 2.0 for Chris Paul. And Chris Paul shoots better than Eric Bledsoe, from deep at least. So to have that shooting and that playmaking is great. You're going to lose out on the defense that Eric Bledsoe gave, but I think Chris Paul's offense is better than Eric Bledsoe's defense. The Bucks power forward Marvin Williams is retiring. He played 15 seasons. He was a number 2 overall pick. Many would call him a bust. When you think of a top 3, top 5 pick, you want career guys. You want LeBron Jameses. You want Kyrie Irvings. You want Anthony Davises. They're not all like that. But they're also not all Anthony Bennett's or Hasheem Thabeet's or Sam Bowie's. Marvin Williams, he played 15 seasons in the NBA. Anthony Bennett played like a season and a half. And he was the number 1 overall pick. So, Marvin Williams never had crazy numbers. His best season, he averaged 15 and a half in 2007, 2008 for the Hawks. His Hawks days, he was a great power forward, a pretty good power forward, or, good power forward. He's always been a stretch 4. He's always been a guy that can shoot threes at the power forward position well. But he's retiring after the Bucks lost to the Heat. 15 seasons, though, yeah, for sure. Seems like a long time to play. The all defensive teams were announced. The first team was Marcus Smart, Ben Simmons, Giannis, Defensive Player of the Year Giannis, AD, and Rudy Gobert. Not really any surprises there. Not really many surprises. All defense second team was Eric Bledsoe, who I praised for his defense, so that makes me feel real good that I, put him 10 because of his defense, and then he makes all defensive second team. Nice. Patrick Beverley, They had to put somebody. Kawhi Leonard, Bam, Adebayo, and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez actually amazing defender this season and last season. And the Bucks had 2 all-defensive second-team guys and an all-defensive first-team guy. Still couldn't win. And the last little bit of NBA news was that the Rockets and Mike D'Antoni are not extending his contract. Mike D'Antoni will be a free agent coach. I've been hearing reports that the Pacers. There we go. The Pacers are interested in signing D'Antoni, and that Tyronn Lue is going to be a front runner for the Rockets job. I've also been hearing a lot of reports that they need to trade Russell Westbrook if possible. Will they do it? I don't know. But, this Rockets team hasn't done it in 3 years. You're going to have to find something new. Find something else. All right, so now that we have football all going, I'm going to be doing the top 25 just quickly for NCAA football. Just doing the top 25, kind of highlighting some, big-name players who played well in these games. So Clemson, the number 1, beat Wake Forest, unranked 37-13. Trevor Lawrence had 351 yards and a touchdown. Oklahoma, the 5th seed, won 48-0 against Missouri State. Spencer Rattler, who did this in the first half, he had 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. One of the best quarterbacks coming in to Oklahoma. He came in last year, played behind Hurts, and now he's getting to start. Notre Dame, number 10 seed, beat Duke 27-13. Number 14 Texas beat UTEP 59-3. Sam Ehlinger had 426 yards and 5 touchdowns. North Carolina, the 18th seed, won 31-6. Williams, their running back, had 14 carries. Oh, they beat Syracuse, by the way. 14 carries, 57 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then the first episode of the season, Iowa State, number 23, ranked, lost to Louisiana Lafayette, 31-14. So that's the top 25 for the last week. Going on to some NFL news, and then we'll wrap it up. The Giants released DeAndre Baker. He was the first-round pick last year. He was arrested in May for armed robbery. Eventually was released, and then the Giants released him. So he got released from jail and then released by the Giants. The Cardinals extend DeAndre Hopkins to 2-year deal, $54 million. He had 1,165 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. He also had 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2018. And he becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history based on average salary. Von Miller, unfortunately, suffered an ankle injury. We're still not sure. Oh, no, it was... we are sure. It was a ruptured tendon in his ankle. He had to have surgery. He will be out for 3 to 6 months. On the 3-month end, he might be able to return. On the 6-month end, looks like it's going to be game over for him. But yeah. The Rams signed corner Jalen Ramsey to 5 years, $105 million. He was a 5th overall pick in 2016. He has 10 interceptions since, 243 tackles, and 49 pass deflections since being drafted by the Jaguars, then traded over to the Rams last season. Ryan Shazier officially retired. Unfortunate. I love Shazier. He was always fun to watch play. Just played the game with such passion, such violence that, it got the best of him once and ruined his career, which sucks. Fortunately, he's able to walk. He was temporarily paralyzed after suffering the spinal injury 3 years ago. He did rehab, and he got to walk at his wedding, which is awesome. And, there was hope that he maybe would be able to come back, but eventually, he's going to call it quits. I'm sure he's going to be there a lot every game for the Steelers. I'm sure he might even work with the Steelers. But he's officially retiring from football. From playing football. Aqib Talib also is retiring. Very interesting. Retiring here after 13 seasons. He had 35 interceptions, 462 tackles, 125 pass deflections. One of the best of our decade. One of the best corners of the decade for sure. Top 10. He actually declined an offer from the Patriots to play this season. Kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have Talib on the squad. He had some, he's kind of a dirty player, kind of a arrogant person, but good player. Bengals named Joe Burrow a captain. Kind of maybe saw that coming, but interesting. I believe it said he was one of the youngest captains of all time. I don't know, but Bengals named him a captain. The Vikings and Dalvin Cook came to an agreement for 5 years, $63 million. He had 1,135 yards and 13 touchdowns in 14 games last year. And then the Saints signed Alvin Kamara to a bigger deal for 5 years, $12 more million, so $75 million. He had 1,300 yards from scrimmage, not rushing yards from scrimmage, and 5 touchdowns in 14 games. Interesting, you look at the comparison between those numbers between Cook and Kamara, and obviously Kamara's more versatile with his passing, with his receiving game. He is more versatile in the passing game than Cook. And Kamara did have 14 touchdowns in 2018. But I think I'd rather go with Cook, and I think Cook is better. But to each of his own, however they want to spend their money. Cook got a bag. Kamara got a bag. So, and then Rams, Cooper Kupp gets an extension, 3 years, $48 million. He had 1,161 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2019. That's going to wrap it up. I got some basketball to watch today, got some football to watch this week. And we're going to be doing it hopefully every Tuesday, if not Wednesdays, just depending on how quick I can get this stuff out and done. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Everything helps. It's always appreciated. And I thank you guys for watching. And everybody have a great one. Thanks. Bye.